How's it going, everybody? My name is LuckyBunz. In today's video, we're going to be going over all the events for the month of April in Pokémon GO. With that being said, let's jump straight into it. Okay, so first of all, the currencies and bonuses are going to be that we have increased friendship damage in raid battles, we're going to get guaranteed rare candy XL during raid hours, and then we're also going to get guaranteed extra large candy from trading Pokemon if you're level 31 or higher, one of the best bonuses in my opinion. And then finally, we're also going to get increased Stardust from your first catch of the day. Next up, let's take a look at our Shadow Legendary from Giovanni, which is going to continue to be Shadow Palkia. We've had Shadow Palkia for a few months now, and it's kind of getting a little bit repetitive, isn't it? Well, the good news is that we can expect to see Shadow Dialga sometime during either this month or next month. We don't exactly know when, but it's going to happen during the next Team Rocket takeover, which is long overdue at this point. Now, for those of you still undecided if you should use your Super Rocket Radar on Shadow Palkia, this is the best non-Mega Dragon-type attacker in the game, just barely beating Palkia Origin form. In terms of PvP relevance, it is currently ranked in the top 10 right now for the Open Master League, so assuming that you don't have the Origin version, this might be a consideration for you. Now, of course, with that being said, with other options out there like Shadow Salamence, Shadow Garchomp, and Shadow Dragonite available for the raid/gym meta, I still don't view this as worthy enough of using my Super Rocket Radar, so personally I'm going to continue to stack mine for the foreseeable future, but if you do want to get your hands on a Shadow Palkia, that is definitely a good option to go with. Now, following that, Shadow Registeel is going to be making its appearance back again in Shadow Raids over the weekend for the month of April. These are going to be available only on the weekend, and they're going to be in person only, so I would strongly recommend checking out your local campfire or Discord groups for any raid meetups. Also, I would recommend attending something more common like a raid hour on Wednesday, and then you can actually ask some locals if they'd be interested in doing some Shadow Registeel over the weekend. That's a pretty good strategy that I've actually used myself. Now, Shadow Registeel in terms of meta relevance is currently ranked in the top 100 for the Open Ultra League, but this is worse than its regular counterpart, which is actually ranked in the top 20 for the same meta. You do also want to have the legacy moveset Zap Cannon, which is going to require an elite charge TM. Now, one upside to this Pokemon compared to its regular counterpart is going to be the ability to get a lower attack IV spread straight from raid battles without having to trade for it first. Since the IV floor from Shadow Legendary raids is going to be 666, this makes it much easier to get a good IV spread compared to the normal IV floor from regular Legendary raids, which is going to be 10-10-10. I totally forgot to mention this as well, but you can also get Shadow Registeel in its shiny form from Shadow Legendary raids over the weekend, so that's going to be a pretty good hunt, I think, for a lot of players out there. I definitely would love to get my hands on one, but again, it is kind of difficult to actually organize some raid groups, so once again, take advantage of the raid hours on Wednesday, see if you can get some locals together, and then just go from there. Next up, let's go over the research breakthrough Pokemon we're going to have available. So we're going to have Alolan Marowak, Mawile, Druddigon, Jangmo-O, Charcadet, and then finally Frigibax. Every Pokemon except for Frigibax does have the potential to be shiny, and you also have a chance to get a remote raid pass from these if you have no more than 2 in your Pokemon bag, although it is pretty rare. Following that, let's take a look at Legendary raids. We're going to have Tapu Lele as the first Pokemon in rotation this month from March 31st to April 9th. It's also going to be returning with Nature's Madness, its legacy moveset. Always great to see that. Now, as far as meta relevance goes, it does have some play in the Open Ultra League in like the top 200 rankings right now. It's not super good, but it's definitely not a bad option either. If you do want to run this for PvP though, you have to mirror trade this with somebody else, ideally to get a better PvP IV spread, since the IV floor from raid battles is going to be 10-10-10. In my opinion, I think it's going to be a great time to actually raid this Pokemon because you have both the shiny form available as well as the legacy moveset. Next up, we're going to have Blacephalon and Stakataka from April 9th to April 21st. Now, both of these Pokemon are going to be available in different parts of the world. Blacephalon is going to be available in the Western Hemisphere, and Stakataka is going to be available in the Eastern Hemisphere. Oh, and did I forget to mention that both of these Pokemon are also going to have their shiny forms available this time around? Now, in terms of meta relevance, Blacephalon is going to be a solid fire and ghost type attacker to run in the raid/gym meta. It's essentially an upgraded Chandelure, but unfortunately it is not going to have access to its signature moveset, Mind Blown. This time anyways, maybe next rotation. This move would most likely give it an additional boost in the fire type meta, but you can still hunt the shiny form during this rotation and potentially even the hundo, and you can always worry about giving it the elite TM in the future when that does eventually get released. It's most likely not going to be some sort of adventure effect situation, so you should be able to do that. Now, unfortunately, when it comes down to Stakataka, this isn't really meta relevant for raids or for PvP. I mean, when I say not really, I mean like not at all. So unless you're going to be shiny hunting this, there isn't like a big reason to focus on this one. I kind of feel bad for the people in the Eastern Hemisphere because they're going to have to use remote raids primarily to focus on Blacephalon. The next Pokemon in rotation is going to be Cresselia from April 21st to May 1st. This Pokemon is also going to have relevance in the Open Ultra League meta, currently ranking in the top 30 right now. Now, of course, because this Pokemon is going to be caught from raid battles, you do want to ideally mirror trade this with somebody else to get a better IV spread for PvP. Now I do also want to mention that Cresselia also has relevance in the Open Great League meta in like the top 100, and technically you can get a low enough CP if you reroll the IVs from a trade, but you have to get like pretty much the floor. So I would really just focus on the Ultra League spread if you really want to get this for PvP. There are some times where you actually get like special field research where you can actually get Cresselia at level 15, and then you can try and reroll it from trade as well. At the end of the day, it's totally up to you, but I think it's going to be better to go for an Ultra League spread rather than for a Great League spread. Now we're also going to have raid hours taking place every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. local time. Typically, whichever legendary Pokemon is currently in rotation is going to be the one featured during that respective Wednesday. So for example, on April 2nd, we're going to have Tapu Lele. On April 9th and April 16th, we're going to have Blacephalon and Stakataka in their respective regions. And then finally, on April 23rd and April 30th, we're going to have Cresselia. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with how raid hours work, most gyms are going to have the featured Pokemon appearing, and the raids are also going to reset after about 25 minutes, which means you can hit the same gyms again at the half-hour mark. This is definitely really convenient if you only have a few gyms around you. And just like I recommended earlier, I would strongly encourage you guys to check out Campfire or Discord for any local meetups before the event. Next up, let's take a look at our Mega Raid pool for this month. So shiny forms will be available on every Pokemon I'm about to talk about. The first one in rotation is going to be Mega Blaziken from March 31st to April 9th. Now this is the best fire-type attacker in the game alongside Mega Charizard Y, but if we strictly look at DPS, a Mega Blaziken is actually better than Mega Charizard Y, which makes this a top priority to focus on this month, especially if you don't have the Mega Energy for it. Now I do also have to mention that Mega Blaziken is going to need the Legacy Charge move Blast Burn to fully maximize its DPS, but you can get away using Blaze Kick if you don't want to use an Elite TM. And if you happen to miss out on Mega Lucario last month, you can also use Mega Blaziken as a fighting type Mega with Counter plus Focus Blast. Now for those of you out there who want to run this as both a fire type as well as a fighting type, I would strongly encourage you guys to unlock that secondary charge move. It's only going to cost you 10,000 Stardust, making this one of the cheaper options to go with for dual functionality. Overall, Mega Blaziken is definitely a Pokemon you do not want to miss out on. Now following that, to complete the Hoenn trio, we're going to get Mega Sceptile available from April 9th to April 21st. This is going to be the best grass type attacker in the game currently with the Legacy Charge move Frenzy Plant. Now speaking of really good grass type Pokemon you might want to power up, this is the perfect time to give a shout out to our sponsor for this video, My Clips channel. I just started a brand new series on this channel focusing on the best Pokemon to power up, a really popular video topic I've been covering on this main channel for the last 7 years. But this series is going to be diving deeper into each type specifically, with the goal of providing even more value on Pokemon you might want to power up in the future. So far we've covered both grass and fire type Pokemon, and I'm going to be uploading new videos every week until we cover every Pokemon type. So if you haven't checked out those videos yet, I'd strongly recommend heading over there after this video and subscribing. Also, since that channel hasn't reached the 4,000 hour monetization requirement yet, every video is currently ad-free right now. Back to the Mega Pokemon though, the next Pokemon in rotation is going to be Mega Mawile from April 21st to May 1st. This has a dual typing of Steel and Fairy and is mainly going to be used for candy farming during certain events. It doesn't really have any meta relevance as a Mega, although you can technically use regular Mawile in the Open Great League, so my recommendation when it comes out to building one is to actually focus on the Great League spread rather than the Hundo, because you can just Mega Evolve the Great League spread and then use that as your Mega Evolution for candy farming. Now finally, to wrap up the Mega Pokemon, I want to go over some general information for any new or returning players watching this. So first of all, you only need to evolve these Mega Pokemon once before getting access to their cooldown period moving forward. After that, you can just walk them as your buddy to earn more energy. This typically requires about 1 to 2 raids on average for that initial energy. Now you're also going to get more extra large candy when your Pokemon gets to Mega level 3, which is unlocked after 30 days of Mega Evolution. And then finally, when you're actually doing these Mega raids, you're going to get guaranteed charge TMs. So overall, this system is a win-win these days. Now following that, we're going to take a look at max battles during this month, and overall, we don't have a lot of really good stuff, so I'm going to keep this one pretty brief. The first rotation cycle is going to be taking place from March 31st to April 7th. The main Pokemon I recommend focusing on from this rotation is going to be Dynamax Chansey, which is going to be not only good to use as a gym defender outside of max battles, but also as a tank during max battles when evolved into Blissey. In the case of Dynamax Blissey, this Pokemon has a massive HP stat. Even though its defensive stat isn't super good, its HP stat is going to hold up really well in these max battle formats. Now we are going to have some other Pokemon available. We're going to have Dynamax Squirtle, Dynamax Krabby, and Dynamax Scorbunny. If you do have extra MP, you can farm these for more candy and extra large candy for their Gigantamax forms in the future, but overall I wouldn't really spend too much time on these if you already have the candy. The next rotation cycle is going to be taking place from April 7th to April 14th. The first Pokemon we're going to talk about is going to be Dynamax Drillbur, which when evolved to Excadrill is actually one of the few Dynamax Pokemon that is worth building right now. I've used this quite a few times against Gigantamax Pokemon that we've had available, so I strongly recommend investing into this. Both Caterpie and Machop are also going to benefit from Gigantamax forms in the future, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to farm candy and extra large candy on them right now. The next rotation cycle is going to be taking place from April 14th to April 21st. We just talked about Dynamax Machop, and then Dynamax Phalanx as well. Don't really need to worry about that Pokemon, but we are going to have a new debut for Dynamax Pokemon, and that's going to be Dynamax Passimian. To be honest, I can't really think of a good reason why you should be focusing on this outside of it just technically being a new Dynamax Pokemon, but overall, definitely a skip in my opinion. Following that, the next rotation is going to take place from April 21st to April 28th. We have Dynamax Squirtle, Machop, and Sobble. If you have the extra MP, same thing as earlier, farm these for candy and extra large candy for their G-Max forms. And then finally, we're going to have Dynamax Chansey available once again, which of course I do strongly recommend focusing on. Now our final rotation is going to be taking place from April 28th to May 5th. We have Dynamax Charmander, which you want to focus on for more candy and extra large candy for the G-Max form. We have Dynamax P-Dove, which is one of the few flying type attackers we have for Dynamax Pokemon currently. Now, we do have max hours, which are going to be taking place every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. local time. These work a little bit differently than the raid hours that take place on Wednesday. The main incentive that I've found for these max hours is that if you're struggling to track down like a certain Pokemon, this does make it a little bit easier to focus on the hunt, but as far as the rotations go, on the 7th we have Passimian, on the 14th we have Wooloo, on the 21st we have Sobble, and then finally on the 28th we have Phalanx. None of these are really all that good, and overall this month for Dynamax Pokemon, they're pretty bad in my opinion. The only Pokemon that I'm personally going to be focusing on from this rotation, or from all these rotations, is going to be Dynamax Chansey, going for that hundo. For those of you that skipped the max battle section, you really did not miss out on very much, but now let's take a look at the upcoming events for the month of April. The event windows are going to be based on your local time zone, so keep that in mind. The first event is going to be from April 3rd to April 7th, and that's going to be the Stunning Styles event. We already have the event information for this, so I'm going to go over the bonuses right now, and there is a lot to talk about in this event, guys. So first of all, we're going to get 2x catch experience as the main bonus, and we're also going to get a boosted shiny rate on Shellos, both the East and West Sea regional forms. We're going to get increased encounters with all cast form forms as well as all Burmy forms, and the Might and Mastery Seasonal Special Research is going to have the next page unlocked, so that's going to be something related to Cubfu most likely. Now we're also going to get another special research during this event called a Striking Shadow. This is going to award you with the mythical Pokemon Marshadow, which was featured during Go Fest during last summer. Now if you already got a Marshadow from the Go Fest special research last summer, this was from a paid ticket, you can't actually get another one through this research. Instead you're just going to get some Marshadow candy. This is pretty typical for how they've done this in the past, so don't feel like you're getting shafted because you're not going to get another Marshadow. This is pretty normal. I'm not done yet though, we still have a few more things to go over here. The next thing we're going to get from this event is going to be some new regionals, the Paldea and Tauros from Generation 9. So in these following locations, you guys can find these different forms. In the Iberian Peninsula, we're going to get the Combat breed. In the Eastern Hemisphere, we're going to get the Blaze breed. And then finally, in the Western Hemisphere, we're going to get the Aqua breed. In the main series games for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, this was a version exclusive, so it makes sense why they're doing it this way. Now, we're also going to get a free timed research during this event, which is going to award you 10 Cubfu candy. Now, after you complete this timed research, you're also going to get 1 additional candy per catch on every Pokemon, which I think is really awesome. And you're going to get an increased chance of extra large candy per catch as well. So if you combine this together with a Mega Evolution, the candy bonuses are going to be insane for this one. Really looking forward to that. Now, like every event, we're also going to have a paid ticket, but this paid ticket actually looks really good in my opinion. So for $2, you're going to get 4 premium raid passes. Those are going to be the green raid passes. You're going to get 1 lucky egg and 1 star piece, along with encounters with event-themed Pokemon. So when it comes down to this event ticket, it is easily worth the value. Now on April 5th, we're going to have Mega Audino Raid Day. This is going to be a new Mega Pokemon debut, which I'm pretty excited about. I just got my Hundo during the Unova tour, and I've been hunting for that for a really long time, so I'm super excited to see this Pokemon come into rotation. Now because this is going to be a raid day format, we're going to have the typical raid day bonuses, which means you're going to get 5 additional free orange passes to use during the day, which means in total you can use about 7, I want to say. That means you get 1 free raid pass every single day, right? So you have 5 additional, that's 6. And if you actually save one from the day before, like you don't raid on Friday, you can actually use a total of 7. That's personally what I'm going to be doing to really maximize the most Mega Energy for free. Now on top of that, we're also going to get the remote raid pass limit increase from 5 to 20. There's going to be a boosted shiny rate of 1 out of 10 like there normally is. And Audino is going to be able to get a special moveset during the event and then also after the event. And that's going to be Moonblast. Now overall, this moveset isn't really going to be that important for Mega Audino because it's not going to be used as an attacker. And as well, on the blog post where it mentions this, when we had Mega Absol Raid Day and Mega Absol got access to Brutal Swing, Niantic changed this last minute so that it would be an Elite TM moveset only, instead of actually being able to use a regular charge TM after the event. I'm not really sure if they're going to do this again, but I thought it was a really scummy move that they did this for Mega Absol. And honestly, when it comes down to Mega Audino, because it's not that meta relevant, maybe they won't do this, but just wanted to give you guys that warning. Finally, we're going to have a free timed research, which is going to give you 10,000 Stardust when you complete 5 raid battles. That's a pretty nice Stardust bonus, but you have to claim this during the event, so do not forget about this one. And then of course we're going to have the $5 event ticket like most raid days. You're going to get 8 additional orange raid passes if you guys get this, an increased chance to get more rare candy XL from raid battles, 1.5 times raid experience, and 2 times raid Stardust. Now because Mega Audino is mainly just going to be a Pokemon you use for candy bonuses in the future, I don't really recommend getting the raid ticket, but if you want to, I mean, that's totally up to you. The next event is going to be on April 6th. That's going to be Tyrogue Hatch Day with a boosted shiny rate of 1 out of 10. That's basically all the information I know about this, just going off typical hatch days in the past. Overall, I would say if you're missing this shiny Pokemon, you definitely want to take advantage of this hatch day. Most of my regular viewers know how much I'm against incubating a lot of eggs during most events just because it's kind of a scam, but this is the one exception, guys. This is going to be the one time where I actually recommend using incubators to hatch a bunch of these because of that boosted shiny rate. Keep in mind this is mainly just for the shiny hunters out there, because when it comes down to Tyrogue, I mean, it's not going to be useful for anything, even when evolving it to Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, or even Hitmontop. None of those Pokemon really have meta relevance in the raid/gym meta, so I don't know. I don't think it's that worth it for that reason, but if you want to get yourself the shiny, definitely make sure to have some incubators ready before this event. Following that, the next event is going to be taking place from April 9th to April 14th. That's going to be the Spring into Spring event. We had a similar event during last year, and the debut actually featured Cutiefly, so I'm not really sure what they're going to do this year. I'd love to hear your own predictions in the comment section down below, though. Over the weekend during this event, we're going to have another raid day event on the 13th of April, which is going to be the Sparring Partners raid day. Now, this is quite vague given how many fighting type pairs we have in the game. For example, we have Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee, Throw and Sock, Single Strike Style and Rapid Style Strike Urshifu. I don't think it's going to be the last one, but it could be the former two. Not really sure. Again, let me know in the comment section down below what you think it's going to be. But overall, I don't expect too much out of this raid day. Now, following that, we have a mystery event from April 16th to April 22nd. Nothing is known about this event. Niantic is intentionally leaving this one as a mystery, so I don't know. I really have nothing about this one. Following that, though, over the weekend during this event, we're going to have Gigantamax Snorlax Max Battle Day. So during this event, it's probably one of the best times to go out there and actually get these done. Try and look for a group on Campfire. Like, this is strongly recommended, guys. And trust me, there's usually a really big turnout for these events. Like, out of everything, I think the biggest turnout that we get in my local is going to be for these Max Battle raid days. So really take advantage of it. Now, as far as the bonuses go, we're going to get the MP collection limit raised from 800 to 1600, which means if you save the MP from the day before or from like the week before or whatever, you can get about 3 of these done during the day, possibly even more. And then we're also going to get 8 times MP from power spots, 1/4 adventure distance for MP, which means if you walk about 0.5 kilometers, I believe, you're going to get 300 MP. It's a pretty nice update. Now, leading up to the event, we're also going to get a timed research available on 16th, which is going to award you a Dynamax Machop, which you can then evolve to Dynamax Machamp to use against Gigantamax Snorlax. If you don't have that many players in your local community, you definitely want to grab this. It's also going to be available in max battles as well. Now, one awesome change that I'm so happy that they added is that we're going to get 2 additional special trades during this event, which means you're going to have 3 special trades in total. Given how many people actually turn out for these max battle days, it's arguably the best time to actually get your lucky trades done, because you're probably going to run into people you don't normally see. I really have to give Niantic credit for this one, especially on the way out transferring over to Scopely. I mean, if we have these in future max battle days, I'm going to be very happy. Now finally, we're going to have a $5 event ticket, which is going to give you a timed research awarding 25,000 experience plus a max mushroom. The max mushrooms are used to make your Pokemon more powerful against these max battle formats for about 30 minutes. You're also going to get 2 times max battle experience, and specifically from these Gigantamax raids, you get a ton of base experience. You can double this with 200 coins, and you can also have a Lucky Egg active. So with all those multipliers, the experience gains are going to be insane, like literally insane. And then finally, the MP collection limit is going to be raised to 5,600 instead of 1,600. Pretty big jump. That's like 4,000 extra points right there. From April 24th to April 29th, we're going to have the Sweet Discoveries event. I'm probably hopelessly optimistic to think that we might get Alcremie during this event with its many forms, but you know, let me know what you think it might be in the comment section down below. It could definitely be something else. Now over the weekend during this event, we're going to have 2 different events. The first one that I'm going to cover is going to be Vanilla Calm Day. During during this event, you guys can expect to see increased Vanillite encounters. There's going to be a boosted shiny rate of 1 out of 25, and this was a previously rare shiny, so I'm actually pretty happy about that. You're going to get 3-hour lure modules and incense. The special bonus is going to be 3 times catch experience, which just means it's going to be really good to farm experience, except for the fact that Vanillite is a pretty difficult Pokemon to catch, and it has a really small excellent throw range, so maybe not the best event to grind experience, if you know what I mean. Following that, though, you're going to get 2 times catch candy, as well as a 2 times chance to receive extra large candy from catching Pokemon if you're level 31 or higher. You're going to get 1 additional special trade for a total of 2 during the event, along with 50% less Stardust when trading Pokemon, and you're also going to get 5 free Vanillite from snapshots. Basically, just take a picture of your buddy Pokemon, back out, and the encounter is going to appear. Rinse and repeat that 4 more times. And then finally, the special Comday moveset, when you evolve it all the way into its final stage evolution form, Vanillish, I believe, is going to be Avalanche. Now, as far as meta relevance goes, I'm not really sure if it's going to be good for PvP, but I can definitely say for certain it's not going to be good in the raid/gym meta. So overall, I definitely am looking forward to this event to at least get the rest of my shiny set. Otherwise, I don't think I'm going to grind this one too hard. I can't really think of a good reason why I should. Now, the final event that we're going to have in April is going to be Dynamax Entei Max Battle Weekend, which is pretty similar to the Raikou Max Battle Weekend that we had back in March. Now, keep in mind, even though Entei is going to be appearing during this weekend, it's not going to appear on every single power spot. I believe it resets after about every 30 minutes or every hour. I don't remember exactly how it was for Raikou, but overall, we're still going to get the same bonuses like we would during a regular max battle day. So we're going to see the MP collection limit raised from 800 to 1600. We're going to get 8 times MP from power spots, which means we're going to get 960 if it's going to be from a news power spot. We're going to get 1/4 adventure distance for MP. If I'm using the same timeline format that we had for Raikou, we're also going to get a timed research available on my prediction is going to be April 21st, which is going to award you with some extra MP as well as some Dynamax counters specifically focused against Entei. So if you want to get the most Entei for free over the weekend, you really have to focus on getting these tasks done ahead of time, because some of them are focused around unlocking max moves, upgrading max moves, and all that costs MP. Anyways, this event is pretty far away. I'll probably talk about this again as it gets closer, so don't worry about it too much right now. That pretty much covers all the events for the month of April, but now we still have the Spotlight Hours to go through, which are going to take place every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. local time. The first Spotlight Hour of this month hasn't actually been announced. I'm pretty sure it was intended to be a mystery just because it's an April Fool's Day, so I'm gonna guess it's probably gonna be Zorua or even Ditto. As far as a special bonus during the event, probably 2 times catch candy, just a guess though. Let me know your own predictions in the comment section down below. Now, following that on April 8th, we're going to have Meditite with the special bonus being 2 times transfer candy. When evolved to Medicham, this is one of the super extra large Pokemon builds for the Open Great League. This basically means that it's going to power up to around level 50 or pretty close, while staying under 1500 CP. So I'd strongly recommend taking advantage of this one and grinding out as much extra large candy as you can for this Pokemon. Ideally, having a Psychic or Fighting type Mega active while hunting this is going to help you accumulate these resources even faster, especially if it's at Mega level 3. Now, of course, we're also going to have the special bonus of 2 times transfer candy, so I'd recommend creating a search tag, group together all of your rare Pokemon, extra legendary Pokemon, and bonus points if you actually mirror trade them with somebody else beforehand, because once again, you're going to get the guaranteed extra large candy from doing that. Next up on April 15th, we're going to have the Pokemon Fomantis with the special bonus being 2 times evolve experience. So when evolved to Lurantis, this Pokemon does have some niche play in the Open Great League and Ultra League metas. If you would prefer to focus on the special bonus of 2 times evolve experience though, I would gather about 70 evolutions in a search tag per lucky egg, and if you can, try to coordinate any friendship level ups as well during this time to really maximize your experience. The most important Spotlight Hour I think you guys need to focus on during this month though is going to be on April 22nd, with the featured Pokemon being Morlul. This Pokemon is going to award you 500 Stardust per catch, 1000 with the featured bonus being 2 times catch Stardust, and if you drop a star piece, you're going to get 1500 Stardust per catch. If you have the weather bonus, even more. I think it's like 1850 or 1875 or something like that. So I would strongly recommend stocking up on Great and Ultra Balls now to get yourself ready for this incredible event. You can easily clear over 300,000 Stardust if you're fast catching and playing in an area with decent spawns. I typically like to go between cluster spawns like parking lots, so you guys can try that as well if you want to, or just like college campuses are also pretty densely populated. If you do have access to Spatial Rend on Palkia, I would also activate this for the entire time as well, which is going to increase the radius of your spawns. Spatial Rend is going to cost you 5,000 Stardust and 5 candy to activate it in 10-minute increments, so that's going to be about 30,000 Stardust and 30 candy for the entire hour. Honestly, it's really not that expensive when you realize how much Stardust you're going to accumulate from those additional spawns, so I strongly recommend using this. Trust me, it's very much worth it. And once again, out of all the Spotlight Hours during this month, that is the main one you really want to focus on. Now finally, for our last Spotlight Hour, we're going to have it on April 29th with the featured Pokemon Abra and the special bonus 2x catch experience. When evolved to Alakazam, this Pokemon does have a Mega Evolution, which is currently the best Psychic-type Mega in the game until Mega Mewtwo is eventually released. Abra is also going to run away on the first throw if you don't actually catch it due to its high flee rate, which is pretty similar to how it works in the main series games. To be honest, I can definitely see arguments against doing the Spotlight Hour and then also arguments against not doing it. I think we're probably going to get Mega Mewtwo during next year's Go Fest of 2026, which is going to be the 10-year anniversary for Pokemon Go. So within the next year, it's probably going to get outclassed. And with that being said, that pretty much covers everything for the month of April, guys. There's tons of exciting content to look forward to in my opinion, but if you are feeling overwhelmed by all of this, I totally understand. Take breaks where you can, focus on the most important events that you're actually interested in. You do not need to do everything, and even if you do end up missing something during this month, it's probably going to come back eventually, so don't let FOMO get to you. Personally speaking, I'm probably going to focus on the big events over the weekend like Mega Audino and Gigantamax Snorlax, but as always, if there's anything you're looking forward to specifically, let me know in the comment section down below. And if you guys do want to check out some more content, I'm going to recommend the 2 videos over on my Clips channel right now, which goes over the top 10 Fire-type Pokemon and the top 10 Grass-type Pokemon you guys can power up in Pokemon Go.